It is the early hours of a crisp Alaskan morning. Korean Airlines Captain Chun Byung-in, First Officer Son Dong-hui, and Flight Engineer Kim Wee-dung stride purposefully across the tarmac of Anchorage International Airport and climb into the cockpit of the Boeing 747 airliner that they're rostered to fly to Seoul's Kimpo International Airport. Flight CAL 007 has stopped off at Anchorage on its journey from New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport for servicing, refueling, and a changeover of the flight and cabin crew. The Alaskan airport, on the northwest tip of North America, is, at this time, a common staging post for flights between the USA and Eastern Asia. Much airspace over the communist countries of Asia and Europe is closed to foreign traffic, meaning longer routings for flights seeking to find a way through safe international corridors. But Chun, the pilot of the flight, knows the passage from Anchorage to Seoul like the back of his hand, having flown it for half a decade. The first leg of Flight CAL 007 has been uneventful for the 269 people on board, and weather conditions for the second leg are predicted to be good, with lower than average headwinds meaning the flight duration will be slightly reduced. In order to arrive at Seoul on time, the departure from Anchorage is therefore set back by half an hour. The final checks are completed and nothing seems out of the ordinary. A route is punched into the navigation computer that will take the aircraft safely around the outer edges of prohibited airspace, and the airport's radar systems record Flight CAL 007 in the air at 4 a.m. Alaska time. It has all the makings of an unremarkable flight. The hours pass. Conversation among the flight crew is jovial and relaxed. At certain points during the flight, they contact ground controllers to report their position and weather and to confirm plans. Breakfast is served to the passengers, just as normal. But there is a problem with the aircraft's autopilot. What Chun, Son and Kim have not realized is that it has not been set up correctly, and throughout the course of the flight from Alaska, they have strayed increasingly to the north of their intended route. It is the worst possible mistake they could have made. With no way to double-check their position, they have relied on their navigational equipment to direct the aircraft along the required route, but it has taken them directly into prohibited airspace over the Kamchatka Peninsula and the island of Sakhalin. 5 hours after the Boeing jet leaves Alaska, and unknown to the Korean flight crew, a Sukhoi Su-15 supersonic jet, piloted by Lieutenant Colonel Gennady Osipovich, is scrambled to intercept the airliner. Osipovich's military commanders have recently spotted a US spy plane operating in the area, monitoring a missile test being carried out. This is a well-known Boeing RC-135 four-engine reconnaissance jet, similar in many ways to the Boeing 747 passenger jet, but without the distinctive hump above the cockpit. Osipovich and his bosses are convinced the Korean Airlines aircraft is another US spy plane. 20 minutes later, having reached the airliner with its oblivious crew and passengers, Osipovich fires a burst of warning shots from his cannon across the Boeing's nose. But the shells cannot be seen by the Korean crew, who carry on chatting, unaware of the danger that is fast closing in on them. 6 minutes after that, Osipovich launches 2 air-to-air missiles at the Korean airliner. One misses, but the other explodes at the Boeing's tail, severing hydraulic control lines and inflicting significant structural damage.